as we go. But so just be aware, you are now being recorded. Well, thanks everyone for joining today. So I just wanted a chance for us all to get together and sort of check in and let you know what Silver Lake is doing and where we're at, ask questions, give us ideas, all that great stuff. So as I said in the email, and you may have heard by now, we are officially closed to groups for 30 days. So we canceled this weekend, and then going forward, 30 days puts us right at Easter, like right before Easter, and we're already closed for Easter. So basically through Easter, we're not having rental groups on site. So all of those groups have been notified. We're doing our best to reschedule them, which I think is going well. Everyone's been really understanding of that. We had to cancel the maple sugaring weekend because you can't really reschedule that because, you know, SAP only runs for a certain amount of time. So what we've done for those participants is we've either refunded their fees, or if they're registered for a summer conference, then we put any payments they made for maple sugaring against their summer conference fees. And Ruth said she got a few responses to that were positive, you know, just thanks for doing this early, thanks for letting us know, and appreciating all the communication. Counselor retreat, we are still really hoping to be able to hold in some format, since that is actually required training for our counselors. We haven't rescheduled it yet. There are a lot of moving pieces on our end about, you know, building availability and all of that. And also, you know, there's still just a lot of uncertainty about, you know, how long this moratorium on groups meeting and all of that is going to last. So we've asked people to just sort of sit tight and wait for more information on that. I'm starting to think through if we can't do a counselor training in person, then, you know, setting up some web calls so that we can at least, you know, get the information out so that our counselors are ready. The women's yoga retreat also, we are crossing our fingers that we'll be able to reschedule it. We have some availability in the Cedars, you know, into May. So, but, you know, it also depends on the leaders of that group when they're available. So again, we've told the participants we're hoping to reschedule. We'll get you more information when we can. And if we're not able to, then we'll refund your money. So that's where we're at for spring stuff. We're moving forward with the summer program. Everything we know right now indicates that, you know, hopefully by June, all of this will be contained and we will be able to move forward. So we are not, you know, we will work on contingency plans, but right now we have no plan to cancel anything. So we are moving forward with our summer program. Obviously, if anything needs to change or we need to modify anything, we will let you know as soon as we make any of those decisions. We have this great community of camps around the country that we've been able to hook into through the company that is doing a lot of this great communicating. Is called Go Camp Pro. If you go to gocampro.com, you can learn more about them. But that's the, I talked last year a lot about taking a staff training class. That's the company that offered that. And because we hooked into some of their training, they've hooked us up with this great community of summer camp professionals all over the country. And they are putting out some really amazing resources for us, which is really helpful. I went on a call yesterday that was really focused on how do we communicate to our families, how do we communicate to our staff, what are the messages we need to be sending. And they've given us a lot of resources. Other camps are posting their letters to parents so that everyone can see. And we have a draft that will go out this afternoon to our parents, you know, just updating them on everything I've told you so far, basically. So at this point, I'll just pause for a minute. Any questions about sort of where we are right now? Okay, so so just some sort of nitty-gritty stuff on what we're saying. Right now, we're not changing our cancellation policy because we have not canceled any programs. So at this point, if a family decides like, I'm not going to risk it, I don't want to deal with summer, they're still subject to our regular cancellation policy, which is any payments you've made above the deposit, the $150 non-refundable deposit, you will get back, but we're still holding deposits if you cancel at this point. If we end up canceling anything, we'll revise that policy and we'll get that information out. But for right now, because we're planning to go forward with the summer program, we're not changing our cancellation policy. In terms of just general housekeeping, so we're closed to guests, and we are going to do a deep clean of the site. We've confirmed that the chemicals that we use already for sanitizing, which we do on a regular basis, we sanitize, beds and mattresses, all the bathrooms, the regular cleaning chemicals that we have been using for a while meet the requirements of the CDC to kill corona. So we're good on that. We've confirmed that. So we know that our current cleaning procedure is adequate. And on top of that, we're also looking at doing a deep clean of the entire site just to make sure that everything is as clean as it can be. As for food service, we always have a ServSafe certified staff member involved in the food prep. We're always following, industry standards, state regulations, all of that on our food service. And again, we actually have staff here right now deep cleaning the kitchen to make sure that everything is gonna be completely sterile. So we feel good about that. And, we're going to stay on top of whatever the recommendations are and, continually review our policies and procedures and make sure that we're meeting all of the most current recommendations. We're starting to talk about what might need to change for summer policies. We have not had in-depth conversations about this, so I'll just give you some very general broad strokes of things that we're thinking about. Last summer, as part of the ACA accreditation process, we instituted a health screening at the beginning of camp. You remember parents all had to fill out that little half-page goldenrod form certifying that their kid didn't have a fever and doesn't have lice and all of that stuff, and hadn't been exposed to people with those things. So that is something we will look at to see how we need to change that screening process to make sure that we are asking the right questions, to make sure that about the COVID-19. One of the recommendations from the summer camp professionals group was to create an online form and tell parents that they need to, which would basically be our health screening, and that they need to complete that, say, 24 hours before you arrive at camp, because that way we're screening out people who have had fevers before they even get to camp, because obviously they get to camp and say, oh yeah, I had a fever yesterday, like they're already at camp. So we'll be looking at how to do that. Those are some of the things that we're thinking about. We're also talking about how to sort of up our hand washing game around camp. You may have noticed there's bottles of hand sanitizer in the social hall on a regular basis anyway. We encourage counselors to remind campers to wash their hands before meals, but really looking at what we can put in place to make that whole process easier. So we're going to investigate whether we can get some of those portable hand washing stations that you see at like big festivals and things, and put them in a few key locations around camp, a couple probably outside the dining hall, because you got the co-ed Fred right there, but even with that, trying to get like all of camp through that in a short amount of time. So we're looking at that. Those are some of the things that we are looking at. And I think that's pretty much where we're at right now. Anyone have anything to add? Is there anything I missed that we should be considering that I haven't talked about that you are aware of?
Jen, do you want to talk about some of the Zoom videos we're thinking about for families?
Yep, I can do that. Yeah, Susie.
Just a quick question. I know that Libby and there may be others are trying to get on and are not being able to get through to you. They've been.
Yeah, I've seen them sort of popping in and out. So I am recording this. So if they aren't able to get on, I'll post the recording and they can watch the recording. And I certainly encourage, like there'll be some email chains and Facebook posts that you can jump in on with questions. And you can certainly email me at Ryan anytime.
Okay, just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, thank you. So we have been doing this year periodic Zoom meetings, inviting parents to them on different topics, just as another way to sort of reach out to our families. They've been going pretty well. They've been small gatherings, usually around 3 or 4 people, but the conversations we've had on them have been really good. So we had already planned to run a couple of those this coming week, and we're going to sort of change what we had planned to do in them. So we're gonna send out a letter to parents today. So we'll go out to families from the last 3 years. So we hit, people who haven't registered yet who might be thinking about it. And we'll post it on our Facebook page as well. And then next week, after this call, I'm having a call with our summer staff, and I'm hoping to get a couple of them who are willing to join us on a Zoom call. And it's, because we're putting out all the important information in written format, I think the Zoom call, we're going to be a couple days into everybody's schools being shut down. So really focus it as hey, our summer staff are going to join us. I know you've been trapped at home for a couple days. Here's sort of a fun half hour where our summer staff will do something fun for your campers and sort of keep them connected. So that's the first one that we're going to do. And, we'll continue to use that, or, if that platform doesn't get very many people, maybe we'll start looking at the Facebook Live or Instagram Live or something like that, just to sort of keep that connection with our families.
And that doesn't just have to be staff. So if there's any of you who are excited about that and want to, you don't have to do the half hour. If you have a 5-minute activity that would work in this platform, we'd love to have you join in. Or if you want to teach it to staff and not be the one on it, that's totally cool too.
Yep. And so that brings me to what you can do to help Silver Lake right now. I am putting together a web page that's going to sort of be the center of all of our communication. So all the emails we send out, I'll also post on the web page so that they're in multiple places. I'm working on an FAQ that'll be on that page that just explains Silver Lake policies and how we're keeping everybody safe. And then below that, I want to start to cultivate a list of resources for parents, some ideas and activities for what they can be doing with their kids while they're home that are sort of a fun, campy focus. So if you have any activities that you do already or that you're planning to do, if you can send those to me, I will cultivate them all there. And then we will have a nice little page of resources for our parents when they're okay, it's been a week and I'm out of ideas. Let's see what, STEAM team wants us to do. So what I can do is I can say this comes from whatever conference and whatever dean, and link to your registration there. Like this activity, come spend a week with us. We're going to do stuff like this. And bonus points if you want to record a little video of yourself, explaining the activity, that would be really cool. Not required. That would definitely be bonus. And then we can start, we'll start pushing those out through our social media. I don't want to commit to a schedule at this point because everything is a little bit up in the air, but 1 to 3 or 4 times a week, posting something hey, here's a fun activity from Joanna, Dean of Muggles and Wizards, for you to try out at home. So please do, if you have those, if you come up with some ideas of things like that would be helpful to parents, please send them to me so that we can do that. Oh, great. Debbie says that the Southern New England Discipleship Team is curating activities as well. There is a Southern New England coronavirus page, which I included that link in the email that I sent out. So you can check there too on the most up-to-date stuff coming out of the conference. That page is really well done and really well cultivated. The resources there are really good. So please do, check in on that page. Cool.
Just for what it's worth, and I'm sure you're getting lots of messages from others, but Libby wanted to send everyone here her best. She's tried numbers of times to get on, so we'll catch her up. But she just says hi to everybody.
Hi, Libby. Sorry we can't see you. All right, so I think that's the information I have for you. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything else we can do for you as you're hunkering down with kids or away from work? Yeah, Debbie.
Could I just add something? Some of you may have heard that the National Youth Event has been postponed. So a lot of the, what went into that decision was the timing and the uncertainty of where we'll be in July. The university, Purdue, where it's being held, gave us a deadline of March 16th to make a decision. So, so that event has been postponed for 2 years to 2022. So it, just in case you get questions about that, but a lot of the reasoning was that, you know, it was hard for families to make a decision at this point about registration, and they really didn't have the capability of waiting till June to decide on this. So, so that's been postponed, and they're looking at some alternative ways for the contracted speakers and musicians to share information in the summer. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Anyone else got anything for us?
I'm
Yep.
sorry that you have to do this, and I'm glad that we have you.
Thanks.
It's an astonishing amount of work that most of it hopefully will be wasted. So we really appreciate it.
One other piece that we're not going to launch right away, but as the school outing, being out of school goes on for a little bit, is a big social media push of, hey, your kids have been cooped up for 2 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it turns out to be. Sign them up for camp, get them out of your hair. So if you want to be a part of that, both playful, but also like, really, these kids actually need to get social engagement. They really lost a lot of their development because school goes quick. If you want to be part of any of that push in some either creative way that you have or some way you want to just jump in with us, we'd love to have you be a part of that. So just let us know as we start to plan that out.
All right, well, if no one has anything else to add, I just want to remind you, I know not everybody's in the Facebook group, but probably a lot of the kind of social communication is going to happen in the Facebook group. I know a lot of us are stuck at home and missing that social connection. So I just want to remind you that your fellow deans are available to you. And please do, you know, use that as a resource just to get some, so you don't go stir crazy yourself. You know, we're all in this together. Yeah, Debbie?
Jen, could I add one more opportunity? So Tuesday afternoon at 4, again, the discipleship team will be hosting an online gathering for pastors or youth leaders. Just a space for pastoral care, but also sharing some response and some resources for folks to use for youth group, alternative youth group gatherings. So that's Tuesday at 4, and it's called Cultivating Connections. It's on the website.
Great. Thank you. And yeah, if there is any desire to, you know, have video meetings in the future, because we all just want to see different faces than who lives in our house, that's something it's very simple for us to set up. So just send me or Ryan a little note saying, hey, can we use the video conferencing software? And we'll be like, yep, we'll get you set up with that. So that is available to everyone.
2 things. Libby, we're recording this, so hopefully if you want to go back, hey, welcome. If you want to go back and see the first 20 minutes of it, Jen will post it and share that out. But second, right now the plan is for us to have our office open because we're a small enough crew. The germs I have are already on site anyway, since I live here, and Ruth does as well. So Some of the phones will be checked. Jen is going to be working from home while her kids are out of school. So if you leave her a voicemail, that'll be a little slower to get, but we'll be able to get electronic communication as well. So if you don't hear from us in one platform and you need a quick response, try a different one and we'll catch you back as quick as we can. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you all. And please remember to reach out if there's anything that we can do to help in any circumstances. We want to, support you all through this as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Thank you.